The gentleman from Montana, Mr. Rosendale.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you for holding this hearing today. The Biden administration's open border policies are wreaking havoc across the entire nation. And this isn't political, this is just a fact. This is especially evident by the surge in addiction and crime in Montana's reservations fueled by cartel activities. I want to thank our Montana-based witnesses for this panel and coming forward to share their insights and firsthand experiences regarding this alarming trend. The continuing cycle of addiction, crime, and loss of life in Indian country must be halted. And I hope that this hearing will force this administration to protect our nation and work with our tribes to repel these dangerous cartels and their impact. Moreover, I hope the fact we're having yet another hearing on this issue of vital importance will serve as a much-needed wake-up call to my colleagues across the aisle, helping them to recognize the unconscionable effects of President Biden's open border policies. These policies have impacted not only border communities, but the entire nation. Mr. LeCount, how many agents do you currently have working in Montana?
We have, Congressman, we have numerous tribes that have contracted the program. Fort Peck, Fort Belknap, Blackfeet. So our agents are basically focused on Crow and Northern Cheyenne with a presence at the regional office there in Billings. With that, I would estimate that there are, in detention, so it's a tough number to come to, but I would say roughly 40 that aren't tribal at this point.
How many of these agents' main priority is preventing cartel activities or drug trafficking in Indian country? Out of the 40, how many of them, their exclusive job is to work on drug trafficking or the cartels?
They're not focused specifically on cartels, but they're focused on drug activity. That would be roughly 5 agents.
Okay. What specific actions is your agency taking to ensure that these communities remain safe from cartel activities?
We are doing any and everything we can with the resources we have to stop drugs from getting there and making arrests where applicable, if we can do that. And we're assisting tribes as best we can to do the same things with the programs I mentioned, Congressman, that are contracted.
So do you believe that more cooperation between law enforcement with federal law enforcement and the tribal law enforcement would help with effective enforcement and reduction in crime?
I do.
Okay. What can be done to create more cooperation between the tribal community and the federal law enforcement agencies in order to help this relationship? What can we do to improve that relationship so that these folks are working together?
I don't know if I'm supposed to go down this road as the director, but additional funding would always help. The pushback between BIA and oftentimes tribal programs is they don't think we're funding them enough, when in fact we have limited resources and we fund as best we can. And other than that, address the jurisdictional issues that the chairman brought up earlier, to where it's much easier for officers on the ground to know whether they have jurisdiction or not. I recently met with the cadets at our training facility in Artesia, New Mexico, and my message to them was, look, I know it's a scary thing and you're not lawyers, but when there's a crime committed, I'm gonna back you if you do the right thing as a law enforcement officer, even if you're somewhat out of your jurisdiction, but that's a real serious issue, the jurisdictional issues, Congressman.
So couldn't we help resolve some of these jurisdictional issues by, again, having some kind of better, closer cooperation between the federal agencies and the tribal agencies so that they're communicating well.
Absolutely.
And that doesn't cost money. That takes time. That takes commitment. That's not about money. And if there's any agreements that need to be put in place, that's the kinds of things that we need to be talking about. Mr. Chair, I see my time has expired. I yield back.
I would just like to add, you know, we got to find money somewhere. And I would ask you specifically, where should that money go? What specific account would that money go to?
That money would be spread across all of law enforcement throughout Indian Country, including drug enforcement. But we have serious problems on reservations as well, with domestic violence, and drugs are a serious issue.
Yeah.
And as Congressman Rosendale probably knows, one of our reservations, I used to be the regional director in the state of Montana. And when I left to take this job in 2018, over 60% of the babies born were meth babies. And I don't know if throwing money at that is going to solve it, but not throwing money at it certainly isn't going to.
The gentleman from Oregon.